Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach today. I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB, super pumped. It is July 25th, 2022. We are ready for another great week here on Morning Coach as we continue our end of July. Can you believe we're coming into July, kind of checking things, making sure we're good, ready to go, and then we're heading back into another due month as we get into August, and then we go September, October, and, Katie barred the door. We're ready to go into 2023. Moving fast, but hopefully you're enjoying the process, manifesting the things that you want to manifest and doing some things you love to do, because that's what we're doing here together here at Morning Coach. So this week, what do we got planned? Well, we're going to talk about public speaking. Public speaking is one of those things that can literally change your life. It's a very important concept of getting out there and doing public work. And I'm talking about podcasting and videos too, just not speaking, which what it used to be, right? When I was starting my career, public speaking, there was no internet. So we're gonna include the internet into this, but we're gonna talk about that today and why it's so important. I've got some tips to make you a little better speaker. Tomorrow, then, we're gonna get into Living Untethered Part 4. As you know, we've broken this down, slowed it down a little bit because there's so much good information right now, talking about the mind, and really now we'll move into the abstract mind tomorrow. And then we'll speed it up again. We'll try to get a couple parts in to get through this a little quicker, but it is just so deep and so awesome that we're kind of taking our time through it, and I hope you're enjoying it. Wednesday, we've got the power of the platform, and we'll get into speaking even more and why being on the platform is so important for you, and really why it works in business and life, and some more information on that. Thursday, of course, Ask JB, got your questions coming in. Friday, we're going to talk about overcoming the fear. It's a huge fear. We'll talk about that in a minute too, but we'll get into it specifically on Friday and how to overcome that fear of getting yourself out there a little bit. Saturday, public speaking ideas. What are some things you can do to get out there and make it work? And then spiritual discussion in the last day of July on Sunday. It does end on July. Just a reminder, on the 29th, this Friday coming up, it is a Financial Friday. If you're doing Financial Friday, I know everybody does it differently, and it's cool. I've mentioned Renee before. She doesn't like our spreadsheet, as you know, which is great. We have fun with that. But you can pick whatever time it is that you, whatever day you want to do it. But it is coming in a month, so we want to make sure we're getting our spreadsheet together for August, coming the end of this week, along with our plan that we're working and we're executing on. Okay, so let's get into it today. Public speaking, it is a huge fear. We're going to talk about this on Friday and breaking through that fear. But a lot of people are scared of it. A lot of people have a challenge. In fact, there's an old saying that people are more scared of public speaking than death. I don't agree with that. I think if your choice is to go up there and speak publicly or die, you're going to go speak publicly. So I think that's kind of a wives' tale. I don't think that's really true. I think public speaking can be fearful. I mean, it can be if you're not used to it and used to getting out there in front of people, but we can overcome that, and we're going to spend some time on it this week. But what it does, and I think this is really critical, especially as you start to learn your information, is that it really solidifies you as an expert. And that's something that's so important in the things that we teach and the things that we do, is getting your expertise out in the marketplace. The more you are seen as an expert, the more value you can put in the marketplace, the bigger problems you can solve, and the more compensation you can bring into your life. We're going through a big transition. As you know, this is our year to evolve into revolve, a revolution, right? And I'm working with a new coach, and we're working on some new ideas and concepts. And part of that is creating the value of what we offer and how we do it, and working with him to put that out to the world, the expertise that I've accumulated over these past 17 years. Actually, probably 30 years since I've been in the workforce, not just since I've had this business, but also in running the companies and things that I've done in the past. Bringing all that expertise to the market is important, and we're going to be doing some new things with that. But what it does is, as you speak publicly, it really solidifies that expertise. When somebody has you come in and speak, it's a pretty big deal. And over the years, I haven't done a lot of it, obviously, since COVID, but before COVID, it was a pretty big part of my business, whether it was my own retreats or events, or just going and speaking for somebody else for a high dollar keynote. those are things that I did. And again, it's just expanded my expertise as we put that out and into the marketplace. Now, what I will tell you is that it's a new world. So public speaking used to just be you go in front of an audience, and yes, that platform's powerful. We're going to talk about that on Wednesday. But now with video and audio and podcasting, there are new formats that you can get out there. It's almost you are your own media company now. And so if you're somebody that's looking to expand your expertise, and I get it, we have a lot of IT people that aren't really looking to go out there and be a social media influencer. And that's not what I'm saying. But if we can get you out there a little bit more than what you're used to, you can start to really focus on things that are going to add to your life and be able to make the changes you want to make. And by solidifying your expertise out there in the marketplace is how you're going to generate revenue, because it leads to solving problems and people coming to you to solve problems, which is ultimately the best marketing, right? If you can solve problems, people are going to come to you and they're going to want you to help them with their business and with things that are going on. And that amount of money is dependent upon what the solution of the problem is. And so by doing other things in the public speaking arena, such as podcasting or videos, all of a sudden now you're getting yourself out into the world, and that is going to, get you out there and to become more of an expert, which is so important. Okay. So public speaking is not just in front of people. It's getting yourself out there more and more and really, really putting yourself out into the marketplace. That's what we're talking about doing here, is putting ourselves out there so that you can connect with others and others can see the things that you're doing. Okay. So what are some things that you can do to become better at all this? Okay, well, let's go through this. So number one of the things you could do is start to study great public speakers. One of the things I've always done is try to watch what other people are doing in the marketplace and seeing who is the best of the best. For example, in YouTube, I always like watching Casey Neistat's videos. Now, Casey's not doing what he used to do. He's kind of stepped away from it, right? He's not doing the videos like he used to do, but it was pretty amazing to watch him 4 or 5 years ago put out these daily, almost cinematic movies, 7-8 minutes, and build a huge audience of 10 million people. Now, I'm not saying I could ever replicate what he does, but it was really inspirational to watch the things that he did on video. So the same thing, you can look and see what other people are doing out there in the marketplace that you can see, okay, that's something that I like. That's something that was really good. And you could take bits and pieces from that. We have Matt Kramer in our inner circle, and Matt, we've had some great discussions about being the front man, as a singer. And if you look at a lot of singers, a lot of the moves and a lot of things they've done, specifically in rock and roll, over the years, a lot of the intricacies of the way they move and things they do, they've taken from other people. Right? Whether it's Elvis or whether it's Zeppelin and Robert Plant, but people have taken little bits and pieces from other people, and that's what helped them become great. So when you study great speakers, you really can start to pick up some tendencies that they do that can bring that into the things that you do. Whether, again, if it's podcasting, whether it's video, whether it's public speaking, by studying others, you'll pick up little bits and pieces that will come into your own the way you do it, right? And you make it your own, but yet you have bits and pieces. Never copy somebody else. Never try to be somebody else. That's one thing I will caution you of. Be your own person. But what you want to do is look for the best things that really turn you on and get you excited and say, okay, I'm going to take that piece and that piece. So study great speakers, great people doing video, great people that are doing pretty cool things. The next thing I'd tell you is to practice. There's nothing better than practice. Anybody that comes to you to say, I'm going to do YouTube, one of the greatest pieces of advice is go do 100 videos that suck, right? Because you got to practice. You got to get better at it. Same thing with podcasting. I don't think anybody really listened to this show for the first 60, 70 episodes back when I first started. Nobody really got into it. And a lot of people are looking for that immediate success coming out of the gate, and it typically does not happen. It takes sometimes years and years and years. I was in the Kajabi group the other day, and somebody just did their first 6-figure launch, and it took them 11 years to do that. So it takes time. A lot of times, some people come out of the gate and make it happen? Yeah, they're kind of unicorns. They're unique, and maybe they have a plan or a formula that can do it. But yeah, it just takes time to learn how to do things, and you got to get out there and do it. We have Denny Jordan, and she's really became a great public speaker, true public speaker. She does great on her video too, but just true public speaker by going to Toastmasters. I've always talked about Toastmasters. It's a great place and go practice. You just got to make sure you're with the right group. You find the right group. That is a great organization to join if you want to become a true public speaker because it allows you to practice. The thing that I always caution you of, and I'll say this again, is that if you get in the wrong group and it's a bunch of people that aren't public speakers, sometimes it's not the right fit. You got to make sure, like my buddy Jim Barber, who's the president of Florida Speakers Association, he's in another group besides Denny's, and he's up in Plantation, Florida, and he's been a speaker his entire life. So he really understands the dynamic ability of the game, and Toastmasters brings some good fundamentals. But then having somebody that's been there like a Denny or a Jim Barber that's, risen through the ranks, they can really help you. And so when you look for a group, they're all over the world. Just make sure you find the right group. Okay? You want to know your message. I think that's really important. Whether you're on video, writing a book, doing a podcast, if you know your stuff, you're going to win. For me, I can plug into most anything and really rock and roll. Somebody just gives me the main points, and then I study the information. I'm not too worried about the presentation itself and the way it's structured. For me, it's more important I understand the points that I'm going to do. And you got to be careful of just running over. For years at my events, one of the things I did with my inner circle is have people get up and speak for the first time that they ever have at an event. And one of the tendencies that you'll see with new speakers is to overspeak, to take the story and make it way too long. And they just kind of overspeak certain things. And so you want to be to the point. You want to know your message. And you want to get to the points. That's what people are looking for. And you have to realize that like 80% of the stuff is not going to be retained. So you really got to become a good storyteller with all of this. Even in YouTube, you'll hear, be a good storyteller. Podcasting, be a good storyteller. That's something that's really critical in business, is that if you could tell stories, then all of a sudden you can win. And even when you need help, like I said, I've hired a coach now who I'm working with to kind of organize myself because I'm good at this stuff, but I'm too close to it. And I need somebody to help me a little bit, really understand my messaging and get to the point, right? So know your messaging and then have passion, and that's going to make a big difference in the way that you speak. It'll really work out well if you bring that passion. I've always said, if you heard me before, about a mom who lost her 5-year-old daughter at the mall, never public spoke before, but they told her, look, in order for us to find your daughter, you got to get in front of these 1,000 people and go up on stage and tell us what she looks like so we can find her. And she gets up there and she just rocks it because she's passionate. She's trying to find her daughter, right? And passion is such a critical component of becoming a great public speaker. A couple other things. Know your audience. It's really important you know your audience and who you're talking to. It's really critical that we understand who the audience is. And what they're about. And if you understand your audience, it's going to make a big difference in speaking. I think I mentioned it last week when we were talking about communication, that a lot of times what I would do is I will reach out before I speak to somebody and understand who they are and what they're about so that I can properly present. On YouTube, I'm working on that right now. My audience is all over the place because I'm doing all kinds of videos and I'm testing and trying out different content. I'm not really ready to commit to a particular audience yet, but I will. We've got a tech one there that's great, that likes Remarkable too, but I'm ready to expand that audience and I'm looking at who that audience is going to be. So know your audience when you're getting ready to present. If you're presenting to children, it's obviously going to be different than people that are in prison, right? So understanding your audience is a big, big deal. And it'll help you convey the message properly. It'll also help people self-select. Like if you have the right audience and you're going after a particular audience, which is what I'm looking at with my coach and marketing person right now, is like, okay, then we'll convey a message to that audience and people can self-select if they don't want to be a part of the things that I do. Okay. The last thing is you want to relax and you want to be real. You want to be authentic. You want to put good energy out there because when you do that, then what happens is people will see you as you. You don't have to be somebody you're not. And that's a really key component. Anything in life, the more authentic you can be, the better off you're going to be in doing the things you want to do. And we want that authentic you out there. Again, it kind of goes with you knowing your message and things that you do, and it allows you to be real. And when you put yourself out there, you can be a little more comfortable and you can allow things to work by putting good energy out there. Okay, so public speaking is a lot of fun. If you got any questions, jump up in Discord. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to keep rocking and rolling this week. It's going to be a great week. Tomorrow, we're going to go back to a little spirituality and untethered soul and that mental concept of connection. And then we're going to keep rocking it. So let's get out there and have a great great week this week. Let's put some great energy out there. And I'll be back with you tomorrow right here on Morning Coach as we get into living untethered. It's going to be a fun day. But today, public speaking. Hopefully some of those tips you can put in your toolbox and you can use later. All right. I love you. Go do it to it. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the show.